What if I told you that the most attractive women in the world aren't the most beautiful, the youngest, or the most available? They're the ones who've mastered one skill: inner alignment. The ones who've stopped chasing and started radiating. The ones who don't beg for attention, because attention naturally finds them. They walk into a room and something shifts. You can't quite explain it, but you feel it. Like the subtle warmth from sunlight after days of clouds, it doesn't shout, it simply is. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. And the mind? It reads energy before it reads words. Long before someone hears your voice, they feel your frequency. It's not your outfit, your lashes, or your perfectly timed emoji. It's your energy. That calm certainty that says, I know who I am and I'm not here to be chosen. I choose. And that is the very energy that draws everything in. So before we go any further, press the like button, subscribe if you're ready to elevate your mindset and magnetism, and share this with a woman who deserves to remember her worth. Think of yourself like a well-lit city skyline. From afar, it doesn't call your name, but it pulls you in. Or imagine being the woman at brunch who doesn't say much, but everyone keeps glancing her way. Why? Because she's not performing, she's aligned. Real attraction isn't noisy, it's subtle. Like gravity, it doesn't beg, it just works. So here's your fun task. Drop this in the comments. Magnetic, mindful, unshakable. Say it out loud too. Show him, show the universe, and most importantly, show yourself. Because what's coming next isn't about surface beauty, it's about the inner architecture of irresistibility. Ready to see if you've already got it? Let's begin. Sign 1. You know what you want. Let's start with the first and most foundational sign of hidden attraction. You know what you want. Not in a Pinterest mood board kind of way, but in your bones. Napoleon Hill said, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Simple, right? But let's break that down. Desire isn't just wanting something, it's having a definite purpose, a clear inner yes. And here's the twist most people miss. This is where true attraction begins. Not when you wear the right perfume, not when you say all the right things, but when you walk, talk, and breathe like someone who knows exactly where she's going. Ever seen a woman walk into a room and she doesn't even look around for approval, but somehow everyone notices her? That's not luck, that's alignment. When a woman is clear, her energy becomes directional. It's like a GPS signal. People can feel it even if they don't understand it. There's nothing more magnetic than a woman who's not wondering, will he like me? But instead asking, does this align with the life I'm building? Now you might be thinking, but what if I don't know what I want yet? Beautiful. That's where you start. Clarity isn't something you find, it's something you create. Start small. What excites you? What kind of relationships feel nourishing? Who do you become when you feel most alive? Write it down. Desire is a compass, and your attraction amplifies the moment you start using it. So remember this, confusion is noisy, but clarity is silent confidence. And people listen closely to what's silent, because that silence feels certain. And the best part? When you stop begging to be chosen and start choosing with purpose, everything changes. Up next, we'll unlock the next level of irresistible. The quiet kind of confidence that doesn't shout, but shifts the entire room. Let's go. Sign 2, your confidence speaks first. Let's talk about the second undeniable sign you're more attractive than you realize. Your confidence speaks before you do. And no, I don't mean loud laughter or dramatic entrances. I mean the quiet, grounded kind, the kind you don't perform but embody. Napoleon Hill put it best. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. And what is faith in this context? It's belief in yourself, not just when everything's going well, but especially when it's not. Here's the truth. Confidence isn't volume, it's vibration. It's the invisible energy you carry when you trust your own worth. You walk into a room not needing to dominate or impress, but simply existing with certainty. That's what people remember, men especially. They may forget your shoes or the shade of your lipstick, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Did your presence feel calm? Did it feel solid? Or did it feel like you were trying to prove something? Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine two women enter a room. One is head-to-toe flawless, but she avoids eye contact, second-guesses her words, and constantly fixes her hair. The other, simpler outfit, but her back is straight, her tone unshaken, and her smile unforced. Guess who leaves a stronger impression every single time? Now maybe you're thinking, but what if I don't feel confident yet? That's okay. Confidence isn't a trait, it's a practice. It's a decision you make every day to speak kindly to yourself, to walk like your path matters, to treat your value as a fact, not a question. Because here's the secret: when you believe in yourself, others have no choice but to feel that. They feel the steadiness in your silence, the strength in your softness. And next, we'll unlock the secret art of feminine calm, the rare trait that magnetizes effortlessly simply by being. Sign 3, you have a calm presence. Now let's step into a kind of attraction that doesn't shout, but echoes your calm presence. This is sign number 3, and it's one that most women underestimate. Napoleon Hill called it applied faith. Not just believing something, but living like it's already true. And that's what calm energy really is, the physical expression of unshakable inner belief. Calm is the currency of true feminine power. In a world addicted to speed, noise, and look-at-me energy, the woman who walks slowly, listens fully, and smiles without needing to prove anything stuns people. She doesn't perform, prove, or push. She simply is. And that energy? It doesn't ask for attention. It commands it. Imagine being at a party. One woman is talking a mile a minute, trying to impress. Another sits, legs crossed, sipping her drink, offering soft glances and occasional questions. Guess who people drift toward, even without knowing why? The one whose stillness feels like a safe place in a chaotic world. Calm isn't boring, it's magnetic. It says, I'm not here to compete, I'm already chosen by myself. And maybe you're wondering, what if I feel anxious inside? Beautiful honesty. But here's the truth. Calm isn't the absence of nerves. It's the decision not to let them lead. Try this. Next time you enter a space, take one slow breath, lower your shoulders, speak 10% slower, and notice how the world leans in, because when you live with applied faith, when you move like what you want is already on its way, you don't have to hustle for love. You become the kind of woman people feel before they even see. The one who doesn't chase. She attracts. And next, we'll explore the power of detachment, the art of not needing anything and getting everything. Let's keep going. Sign 4, you detach with dignity. Here's where things start to get deliciously powerful. Sign number 4, you detach with dignity. This is the art of controlled attention. Napoleon Hill said it best. Concentration of effort is the basis of all personal success. And that includes relationships. Energy is your most valuable currency, and you don't spend it chasing what isn't choosing you. Let's be clear, detachment isn't coldness, it's elegance. It's knowing you're valuable and refusing to overextend yourself just to be liked. You don't beg for texts. You don't obsess over responses. You don't make someone else's attention your goal. Why? Because your energy is an investment, not a discount sale. Picture this. A man pulls away slightly. Many women panic, try harder, send another message, lean in more. But the magnetic woman, she pulls back too, not to punish, but to protect her peace. She trusts that what's meant for her doesn't need to be chased. And here's the twist. That very pause creates space for him to lean in, because mystery doesn't repel, it invites effort.
And maybe you're wondering, but what if he loses interest? Well, then he wasn't interested in you. He was interested in your constant availability. Let him go. You're not here to entertain. You're here to inspire.
Controlled attention is exactly that, controlled. You choose where it flows. You don't pour your energy into uncertainty. You redirect it into yourself, your purpose, your glow. And when you stop overwatering a dying connection, something magical happens. Your value becomes visible, without needing to prove a thing. Because real magnetism isn't in the chase, it's in the calm certainty that says, you're welcome to approach, but I'm not waiting. Next, we'll explore how your personal style, yes, your visual energy, tells the world who you are before you even speak. Let's unlock your visual frequency. Sign 5. You make men feel possibility. Now let's step into the kind of attraction that doesn't just capture attention, it elevates it. Sign number 5. You make men feel possibility. And this, my dear, is where real influence lives. Napoleon Hill called it auto-suggestion, the principle that repetition of affirmation leads to belief. But here's the secret. That doesn't only apply to your own mind, it applies to how others experience you too.
It's not what you say, it's what you trigger. A woman who's aligned with her purpose, who walks with clarity and moves like her life is headed somewhere. She doesn't just attract a man, she activates a vision inside him. She becomes a walking affirmation. You could become more. You could build more. You could rise.
Have you ever had a man say, I don't know what it is about you, you make me want to do better? That's not flirtation, that's influence, that's vibrational leadership. You didn't coach him, you didn't preach, you simply embodied the energy of growth, and it whispered to his subconscious, rise with me or lose me. Now you might wonder, but what if I'm still figuring myself out? Even better, because a woman in motion, learning, building, stretching, is more powerful than a woman pretending to be finished. Your evolution is magnetic. Your vision becomes the mirror where he sees his own potential. Men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with the way you make them see themselves differently. You unknowingly unlock the part of them that wants to improve, to protect, to become. That's not manipulation, it's transformation. And next, we'll unlock how your style, yes, your outer world, can align with this inner energy and silently speak your power before your lips even move. It's not vanity, it's strategy. Let's go.
Sign 6. You own your style.
Let's talk about something that's often misunderstood as superficial, but in truth, it's one of the most powerful forms of silent communication you have, your style. This is sign number 6. You own it. And Napoleon Hill gave us the perfect foundation when he said, whatever you believe about yourself becomes your truth. Style isn't just fabric and colors, it's your belief system, worn like armor. Your scent, your walk, your outfit, these aren't shallow details. They're signals. Signals that say, I know who I am. Style is personal branding, and branding is never about decoration. It's about declaration. You're telling the world without words, this is what I believe about myself. And men? They don't respond to the fabric, they respond to the frequency. Imagine two women. One wears something trendy, but she fidgets and pulls at her sleeves. The other wears something simple, but walks like the ground owes her a thank you. Who turns heads? It's never the clothes, it's the confidence they carry.
Here's the key: alignment. When your outer appearance reflects your inner certainty, people feel it. That well-fitted blazer, that red lipstick, that perfume that lingers in the air like a memory. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about reminding yourself who you are every time you walk past a mirror.
Now you might think, but I'm not a fashion expert. You don't need to be. You just need to ask yourself, does this outfit align with the woman I'm becoming? That's your true dress code, because when your self-image becomes embodied, when it walks, talks, and drapes across your shoulders with intention, you stop needing to be noticed. You start being felt. And next, we're going deeper, because if style is your silent signature, your energy is the ink that writes it. Let's explore the magnetic force of feminine presence, the kind that doesn't chase, it pulls. Sign 7. You let silence speak. In a world that glorifies oversharing and constant commentary, the woman who pauses, who chooses her words like silk, becomes unforgettable. Napoleon Hill said, "Your subconscious mind will translate your dominating thoughts into reality." And guess what? Silence is one of the most powerful suggestions you can offer, because it lets the other person's mind do the work. You don't overshare to connect, you create space. Space for someone to lean in, wonder, imagine. You leave room for curiosity, and curiosity is the spark that keeps desire alive. We often think attraction is about impressing someone with what we know, but the truth, real magnetism lives in what you withhold. Picture this. A man asks you a question about your past. Most people would give a full breakdown, but you smile and say, "That's a story for another day." That line, that moment, it sticks, because it leaves a question unanswered, and the mind hates an unfinished loop. It keeps returning, trying to fill in the blanks. That's the power of suggestion. You didn't say more, you said less, but with presence. Stillness creates curiosity. Curiosity creates desire. It's the difference between being consumed and being contemplated. One fades, the other lingers. Now maybe you're thinking, but won't silence make me seem distant? Not when it's paired with warmth. Your gaze, your smile, your energy can say, "I'm open," even when your words are few. You're not being cold, you're being intentional. You're letting your presence do the talking. And up next, we're unlocking one of the most rare and radiant forms of attraction: independence. The kind that doesn't push people away, but makes them rise just to meet you. Let's go deeper. Sign 8. You walk away like a queen. Now we arrive at one of the boldest signs of true attraction, and that, my dear, is the ultimate display of decision. Napoleon Hill warned us clearly, the mastery of procrastination is the mastery of failure. In other words, when you know you move, you don't wait, you don't beg, you don't hope someone wakes up and chooses you, you decide. And decision is power. When you walk away, you don't crumble, you rise. And your absence? It speaks louder than 1,000 conversations ever could. Because when a woman who loved deeply and authentically chooses herself over a connection that costs her peace, something seismic happens. A man doesn't just lose her, he loses the version of himself he got to be around her. And that loss, it echoes. You've probably been there. You walked away not because you didn't care, but because you cared enough about yourself to stop shrinking. You closed the door softly, maybe without drama, but with dignity. And weeks or months later, the message comes. I've been thinking about you. Not because you played a game, but because your energy lingers. He doesn't miss your texts. He misses who he was when you still believed in him. That's legacy energy, that's queen energy, and maybe you're wondering, but shouldn't I fight for love? Only when love isn't fighting you. A queen doesn't abandon her throne to chase attention. She knows that walking away with grace creates more impact than staying out of fear. Because you weren't just a chapter, you were the turning point. And next, we're going to uncover the magic of not needing to compete at all, because your self-sufficiency is not only powerful, it's addictive. Let's unlock what makes you unforgettable without even trying. Sign 9, you don't compete. Napoleon Hill said, "A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits." But here's the twist. The real winners in life and love aren't the ones hustling to prove they're better. They're the ones so secure in who they are, they don't even enter the race. You don't try to outshine other women, you shine. Period. Not from ego, but from essence. You're not looking around wondering who's prettier, more successful, more his type. You're not scrolling, comparing, spiraling. You know your value isn't relative, it's absolute. And that kind of self-sufficiency, it's rare. It's like gold in a world full of glitter. Have you ever seen a woman who doesn't compete, but somehow always stands out? Not because she's trying, but because she's anchored. She knows her lane, she walks in it, and suddenly all heads turn. That's not magic, that's magnetism built on inner peace. Now you might wonder, but doesn't being humble mean not thinking too highly of myself? No. True humility is knowing your worth without needing others to confirm it. It's the quiet confidence that says, I'm not here to fight for a spot, I am the room. That energy doesn't intimidate real men, it inspires them. Because let's be honest, desperation is loud, but security, it's silent. And people always lean toward the stillest energy in the room. It feels safe, it feels whole, it feels like home. And speaking of inspiring, up next, we'll unlock a truth that may surprise you. It's not always about how you attract, but about who you become in the process. Let's talk about your power to inspire transformation, the kind that stays long after you've left. Sign 10. You inspire growth. Let's talk about the kind of attraction that leaves a permanent imprint, not just on hearts, but on souls. Sign number 10. You inspire growth. Napoleon Hill called this mastermind energy, the idea that when two minds come together with purpose, they create something greater than the sum of their parts. And he also said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Translation: your energy shapes the people around you, and when it's aligned, it elevates. You're not the kind of woman people try to impress. You're the kind they want to become better around. You make them want to speak more intentionally, show up more fully, live with more purpose. Why? Because your presence is a mirror. Not the kind that shows what they are, but what they could be. Think back, have you ever had someone say, "You make me want to be more disciplined, healthier, braver"? That's not just flattery, that's energetic transformation. You didn't demand change, you embodied it. And in doing so, you activated something deep in them. I mean, that's legacy level attraction. Now you might be thinking, but I'm still figuring my own life out. Beautiful. That's what makes your energy so real. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to be in motion, growing, learning, becoming. That movement becomes an invitation. Come grow with me. And that's magnetic. Because people may forget the conversations, they may forget the compliments, but they'll never forget the version of themselves they saw reflected in you. And next, we'll talk about one of the boldest truths of all, the power of being complete with or without anyone. Because independence, when it's real, not performative, isn't just attractive, it's addictive. Let's go. Sign 11. You're not afraid to be alone. And let's be honest, that kind of independence, it's rare. Napoleon Hill once said, "No man can become rich without enriching others." And guess what? That applies to emotional wealth too. A woman who has built a full, joyful, purpose-driven life on her own, she is richness incarnate. Her presence enriches everyone who meets her because she's not coming from lack. She's coming from overflow. You've built a life that's meaningful, with or without someone. Your joy doesn't come from being chosen, it comes from choosing yourself every single day. You take yourself out. You invest in your passions. You find beauty in your own company. And while others may see solitude as loneliness, you've turned it into luxury. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who isn't trying to be rescued, who doesn't make her wholeness someone else's job, who can love deeply but doesn't need someone else to feel complete. And paradoxically, that's what draws people in, because when your happiness is self-generated, your love becomes a gift, not a transaction. Imagine this, a man meets two women. One sends subtle signals that she needs him to feel worthy. The other? She welcomes connection, but her peace doesn't depend on it. Guess which woman he can't stop thinking about? The one whose energy says, "I'm already fulfilled. You're welcome to add, but I'll never ask you to complete me." That's not ego, that's emotional freedom. And it creates the most powerful kind of attraction, not one based on fear of loss, but desire for alignment. And now we arrive at the final sign, the one that ties everything together, the reason you don't need to shout, prove, or chase. Because your inner world, it's already radiating something unforgettable. Let's bring it home. Sign 12. You honor yourself first. Napoleon Hill said, "The world has the habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going." Well, guess what? The same applies to a woman, especially a woman who lives in integrity, where her words, energy, and boundaries are in alignment. That kind of self-honoring energy doesn't just command respect, it attracts devotion. You don't betray yourself for belonging. You don't silence your voice to keep the peace. You don't abandon your truth just to be chosen. And that kind of commitment to self, that's soul-level attraction, because most people are performing for approval. But you're living in your truth and letting the right people meet you there. It's not that you never compromise, it's that you never collapse. You know the difference between softness and self-sacrifice. You can listen, adjust, grow, but you won't twist yourself into a version that feels foreign just to fit into someone else's frame. Think about it. Haven't you met someone who, even in silence, radiated clarity? Who knew what they stood for and never had to convince anyone of it? That's real influence. That's magnetic leadership. And in love, it's irresistible, because when you honor yourself first, you set the tone for how everyone else will treat you. And even if someone walks away, your energy whispers, "She didn't lose anything, she reclaimed herself." That kind of woman isn't just remembered, she's revered. So if you've seen yourself in any of these signs, if your presence has ever been misunderstood, your stillness misread, your absence felt more deeply than your presence was appreciated, trust this, you're not invisible, you're unforgettable. Now go ahead and comment below. I attract with integrity. Say it out loud. Show him. Show the universe. And most of all, show yourself.
Because the real glow up, it starts from within.